All right, moving on, we go from the world of e-bikes to earplugs. So get ready to tune in to Dimitri O's keynote on transforming ear protection with loop earplugs. As an engineer, a nightlight lover, but unfortunately also a tinnitus sufferer, he spotted a gap in the market and decided to amplify the solutions. Fast forward to today, and Loop has become a global sensation, hitting high notes with its award winning designs. So join us and explore how their focus on user needs has led to groundbreaking innovations that truly make a sound difference. Explore the insights into challenges and triumphs that it takes to scale a global brand committed to innovation. Let's welcome Dimitri O. Hey, please take a seat. And I see you brought your loop earplugs.
Of course.
Hanging
Always
around your
selling.
neck.
Yes, exactly.
For the people who haven't seen them, really fashionable, really beautiful. I have them as well. And in a scenery as Tomorrowland, of course, you have to have them.
100%.
All right, Dimitri. Like I already told a little bit in the introduction that you're a tinnitus sufferer yourself, but I'm going to ask you the question anyway. What inspired you personally to start Loop earplugs, and what problem were you aiming to solve?
Loop is born out of a passion and a frustration that my co-founder Maarten and myself share. We've been long-time big fans of Tomorrowland and clubbing and nightlife of all sorts, and as a result, at some point, both of us got hearing damage. The apparent solution was to wear hearing protection, but we absolutely hated the products that were available. They weren't comfortable, they weren't sounding right, and maybe most importantly, they weren't looking right. Especially when you're young, you dress up, you want to meet some people, you don't want to have social barriers sticking out of your ears. So that is something that we thought could be done way, way better. And we're sort of inspired, if you like, by the earphones, so not earplugs, but earphones. They have all these really nice designs with cool materials and nice finishes. You don't have a one-size-fits-all approach, but they have the different sizes of ear tips so that everyone can wear them comfortably. And we thought, okay, let's get the inspiration from that. Let's see if we can make an earplug that's actually desirable, that people are gonna love wearing. And that is basically what brought us to where we are today.
Yeah, because before Loop, if you looked at the earplug market, so to say, it comes across to me as a red ocean, but you guys found or created a blue ocean. Now, can you tell me a little bit when that happened? Because in the beginning, you just started with ear protection, fashionable ear protection, but when COVID-19 hit us, nightlife was basically over, and it's then that you shifted your business model as to what Loop is today.
Yes, 100%. We started selling in 2018. Back then it was really, really small. And then in 2019, we scaled the business quite nicely, operating both in retail and in online channels, but fully focused on nightlife. Protect your ears in style was what the brand was all about. And then came COVID indeed. And with COVID, two things happened. First of all, most of the channels that we had, so retail and marketplaces such as Amazon, just stopped selling. So we only had our own website left, and then on that website, basically, there was no reason why people would be buying hearing protection for nightlife because lockdowns, confinement, no one was going to parties. Some small exceptions on the side. And what we did back then was basically two strategic decisions. Was first of all to go direct to consumer, D2C, because we really like that direct relationship that we have with our customers, because they actually allowed us to make the second pivot, which was going into broader target audiences. What are other need states, use cases where we can actually provide our earplugs as solutions for people that are,
And that's actually pretty bold, because if you listen to business coaches, advisors, they always say, focus, focus at the beginning of when you launch your product or a service.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a double-edged sword. In principle, I actually agree. Focus is super important with everything that we do, but it can potentially make you super dependable of one set, and it doesn't happen that often, I think. But our market basically disappeared from one day to the other. So we went looking for other product market fit, and I'm very happy to say that in 6 to 8 months' time, we found that other product market fit were actually multiple. And one of the common thread that they all had was the insight that people are not only wearing their earplugs for protection, but also for comfort. There's a lot of noise in this world, and for a lot of people, it's just about taking away some of that noise, just because it keeps us in our flow to focus better, to sleep better, to be more calm when we have screaming kids around us.
Yeah,
all
I
of these.
agree. I have two toddlers walking around, and then it's what you also offer. It's personalizing your hearing protection and the way you experience sound. I mean, one of the metaphors that you used in your previous interviews I really loved was when we go outside and the sun is shining, we wear our shades to, yeah, to really focus on how the sun or how we see our environment and how the sun hits us. But with sound, it's completely different. Before you guys, there was no one who was thinking about how people could experience sound in a very personal way. So really love that one.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. It's one of my favorite quotes as well. Sunglasses for your ears is basically what we do, because indeed, when the sunshine is uncomfortable, you're going to put on your sunglasses. When noise is disturbing you, why wouldn't you wear loops, for example,
Yeah,
as a solution?
indeed. Now, it's not only about the brand story.
That is,
Should have worn my loops right now.
if you wonder what tonight sounds
Yeah.
like, it's getting close.
All right. But it's not only about the aesthetics and the brand story. You also put quite the effort in research and development, and also invested some money in that department. So can you tell me a bit about why you did that and what impact these new developments had for your business?
Yeah, the one thing we didn't want to be is a one product company where we would just have that one innovation and then stop there. That's not the ambition that Martin and I have, so we want to go further on that. Once for us the mission became clear that we want to give everyone the freedom to choose what the world sounds like, we basically had a roadmap planned out for us. And so back in 2020, we launched our first or second product, which was the Loop Quiet, which has the same design features but allows people to reduce the noise a little bit more based on the feedback from customers that were high sensitive to noise. They said, like, I really like the experience, but it's not really allowing me to have a conversation. So that was basically the feature set of Engage. Third product that we launched, and probably the one that I'm most proud of about, is the Switch. That was the one that we launched last year. And it's the one that combines the three products that we have within one product, because customers were asking, like, okay, I like the Quiet, I like the Engage, I like the experience. I use all three of them throughout the day, but I always have to switch between them. Can you find a solution? And it might actually look simple, and that's what we try to do from a design perspective, of making it as simple and intuitive as possible. But behind that, it's really very small engineering
Yeah,
that you
you're an
have to do
engineer.
to
Yeah.
bring these three products into one. And I'm very happy that as we went, we learned a lot from Switch 1, and Switch 2 is coming somewhere in the next couple of months. That in terms of designs is really a next step as well. So a lot of exciting stuff there.
What also amazes me is that, like, you guys have this one product. Of course, you have some variety, but you always survive and you are profitable with like just one-offs and acquiring new customers. Whereas when I also, as a business coach, I always tell my startups, like, you need to invest a lot in customer lifetime value instead of continuously acquiring new customers, because that's super expensive. But you guys are such a cool example. You just did it and you're surviving on customer acquisition time after time. That also has to do with your digital marketing, of course. So if you can share maybe some insights or lessons learned that you have from campaigning.
I think indeed we developed, or one of the skill sets that we developed was going pretty strong in online marketing. When making the choice to go fully D2C, we allowed us that focus again on digital marketing. One of the key drivers of that is influencer marketing. For the very simple reason that we have a lot of education to do. A lot of people are still not aware of what problems are and what potential solutions are, again, around everything that has to do with noise. So when we work with influencers, with key opinion leaders, we let them tell the story, basically. They do that in a very authentic way that comes across way better, and then we amplify that through our digital channels. and partnerships such as the one with Tomorrowland that
With
we have.
Tomorrowland, indeed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is also a form of that key opinion leader that can really show, like, even us as Tomorrowland, we stand behind this. Yes, we want to enjoy the world, not just today, but also tomorrow. So let's do that in a way that we can do that, which is, I think, also the premise of Love Tomorrow.
And when I hear you talking about influencers, you also mention people with authority and expertise, so more like recommenders, or it falls in that category. Can you tell me, how do you select these people?
On authenticity, very simple. Everyone that we work with gets a sample and they test them with no strings attached. And then they give us the feedback. Do they like them? What are the comments that they are making? And if they are truly convinced that our solution is a great solution, we let them tell the story and then we amplify it. But it starts there. It needs to be authentic. Otherwise, I don't really believe in influencer marketing.
Okay, authenticity, also something we heard quite often on the stage today. Now, leading a scale-up nowadays must be vastly different from the early days in 2016. So what changes have you experienced, and what are the most important changes in the transition from a startup to a global scale-up?
Quite a lot changed. Obviously, we started with just the two of us. Martin and I are longtime friends. We've known each other since we're 13 or 14 years old. So obviously, you very organically understand each other. Communication is super easy. It's not even a topic that you think about.
Yeah, because Martin lives in New York.
He does.
You stay here.
Yes.
That's also a bit of a challenge.
That was initially that was a challenge, but actually proved to be a bit easier than we thought. The good thing with New York, it's only 6 hours of time difference, and Martin committed on getting up quite early, so we have the afternoons in common. So that really works. There's plenty of time for us to sync on a regular basis. He comes here, I go to New York a couple times as well. So that sort of works between us. But I think in general, if you think about a team that really scales, and today we are, I don't know exactly because it changes every day, but somewhere between 250 and 300 people that work at Loop. Obviously, one of the biggest changes is that I don't know everyone anymore exactly, not just by name, but what they do, what they feel, what are their strengths and potentially their weaknesses. So that becomes more of a challenge. And if there's one thing that I maybe learned for going back, is having that personal connection with
So
everyone.
I hear a little bit of nostalgia in seeing the little team in your headquarters all getting together, like the really pure start of life. Yeah.
It's double. Yes, there's a part of nostalgia in there. That said, today we can execute so much bigger things than we could back then. And
of course, because of which your role also changed at the company, I can only imagine.
Yes.
Like, what's the difference comparing it to the beginning? What was your role then, and what's your role now?
initially, so the very first stages was product development that Martin and I did together, working with universities, freelancers, etc., to get the product basically in its core form to what it is today. And I'm talking about Loop experience. So first it was product development, then you go into marketing, trying to find that product market fit, and then scale that through social media and online marketing. Back then, also learning a lot about retail. And then you start hiring people. So that is a very specific skill set that you need to develop. And then these people come on board and they need to start working together.
And did you also do that yourself, the hiring? Or
Sorry?
Did you also do that yourself, the hiring?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Up until 6 months ago,
Okay.
Martin and I spoke everyone that was joining the company. So up until 200 people, more or less, we spoke to everyone. And it's actually one of the things that I sort of miss, if you like today. So it changed completely, and right now the challenges are much more around communication, about motivation of an entire group, making sure that everyone has the same strategic focus and getting on that, and then culture is a super exciting piece as well.
Now, here at Love Tomorrow, we aim to create a brighter, more sustainable future. How does Loop contribute to that?
Well, the thing is, hearing damage is a permanent form of damage, so it doesn't go away anymore. Unfortunately, we live in a world that is much getting noisier and noisier. So the amount of people that have hearing damage is also increasing as we do. So I think the biggest impact that we can have is actually, from one side, avoid people getting that hearing damage. That's the best solution. And for those people that are more noise sensitive in the world, you really see that it's a barrier in their flow. They can't do the normal things that are just for you and I, very normal things to do on a daily basis. For them, it becomes a huge challenge. And we basically give them back their lives by giving by just taking off a little bit of the noise that they have around them. So looking at the testimonials that our customers are providing us, I think through the products that we sell, we are creating a lot of impact in the world.
All right. And are there some specific actions that you take to also be more sustainable? I know about the packaging already that you try to make really, really small. That has two benefits. But are there any other?
Well, there's a couple of benefits indeed,
Yeah.
as you mentioned. We try to use as much as possible recyclable materials. We also filed for B Corp a couple of months ago. So waiting for those scores or that accreditation to come through, which I'm confident will happen. So from that side, we're looking at a lot towards our people. We're also trying to do as much as possible. For example, we have a stock option program where we give options to everyone in the company from the lowest to the highest, so to speak. So we try to have as much fairness and involvement throughout the company as well.
Now, you guys became profitable really, really fast. I mean, I guess everyone was amazed with how fast you guys became profitable. But of course, at some point, fundraising was also necessary. How do you experience working with investors?
Well, the fundraising was the last time was in 2020, indeed, so quite some time ago. It's quite chill, I must say.
A lot of entrepreneurs
I can imagine
tell me otherwise.
Yeah, I can imagine that the growth and the profitability helps.
Yeah.
People around us are quite at ease with what we do. Martin and I have a lot of control of how we steer the business. So far, it hasn't been the biggest challenge, to be honest.
And are you also looking into new business models? Because I can only imagine now you're like growing so rapidly, but if the whole world is wearing loop earplugs, what are you guys going to do then?
Well, we're not there yet, I'm afraid. And I think best case, if you look at festivals such as Tomorrowland, you're going to see that maybe 10%. Whereas hearing protection, so there's still a lot to be done in the core markets and in the core need states that we're operating in today. That said, we do look into expansion of other business models. I think industry can be a super interesting one for us as well, because basically the features that our products have, as in like they're comfortable, they're nice to wear, they're not too expensive compared to custom-made ones, are very valid arguments for them as well. That would obviously
so B2B could also be...
B2B most definitely. We're also looking into expansion. We're mostly operating in the Western countries at the moment, but Asia is very interesting market for us as well. We're already seeing very nice traction in Japan and India, for example. So there's a lot going on a lot of different areas.
Good to know, but I assume that some of it is also confidential still.
Of course.
Now, we also saw a big difference between like the European market and, let's say, I just take out Belgium, which is your home country as well. You grew here fast, but if you look at Canada, the US, you grew way faster over there. Do you see a big difference in attitude of the target audience?
It's yes, it can differ region per region. Up until now, we have very deliberately followed a very international strategy, meaning that we sort of communicate the same thing across the world by working with the Instagrams and the TikToks, etc. By definition and very organically, that happens. These are not bound by region, but that content finds its own way across the world. From day one, we focused on scalability and global reach. So you will not find, although being a Belgian brand, you will not find a Dutch or French-speaking website of ours. Everything is in English. So Belgium represents only 2% of our revenue. From day one, we've been focused on that international aspect, and that's probably one of the things that allow us to grow as fast as we did.
All right. Now, from going to a startup to a scale up, it might be hard, as you already said, to monitor the team and also monitor how they work and what their work attitude is. So how do you currently foster creativity and resilience in your team?
There's a couple components there, I think. People and culture come to mind as the major pillars on which we need to work. Everything starts, so to speak, with the ingredients that you have to make your dish. It's the people. Mm-hmm. In our recruitment, we have always increased the bar for the people that we hire constantly, and still doing that. And the things that we really focus on, there's a lot of things, but one of the things is that ability to change, having as little resistance as possible, because in the scale of things are going to change on
Yeah,
almost
and you
a
can
daily
select
basis.
people based on that, but it's also something that you need to continue to train. Like, how do
Absolutely.
you do that?
And that's the culture part, where
Okay.
very deliberately and in a dynamic way we continue to develop our culture and have that focus on let's innovate, let's do things differently, but at the same time keep things simple as well, so that we can easily shift whenever that's necessary. We have a couple people, business partners with us in the team, and they always say like it's sort of a curse and a blessing at the same time of having two founders that are that committed to culture, because we get involved a lot. Whereas in other businesses, probably the leadership would say like, "Hey, culture, just go do your own thing," and it's a checkbox that we can check off. That's not the case for us. We think it's fundamental to who we are and how we do business, so we're very involved in that.
You already talked about expanding to Asia. Now, what are the success formula that you use when you expand to new territories? Like, what do you abide by? You say, like, this is something we do every time we step into a new expansion.
I truly believe that product market fit is a very important condition before you start spending any money. So that's really how we go into the expansion markets. It's typically one person that goes there and try to find product market fit as fast as possible. We
And
have a couple
how do they do that?
with online marketing. So they're also working with influencers, with ads, with landing pages, see if we can get the conversion, see if people, once they convert, what is the feedback that's coming back, what are the ratings, are they recommending us, are we growing organically there as well? And we try to do that as nimbly as possible until we have this set of KPIs that we've hit, and then we go into the next stage. A little bit more people, a little bit more investments, we go to the next stage and we build it up. So we basically try to replicate the model that we initially had in the Western world in a way of working. But then for the expansion markets, that's the one big difference that we have with the international markets, is that there we localize. So we in Japan we go with Japanese influencers, Japanese website. Same for China, same for India, etc.
Okay. Of course, you can also learn a lot about where you failed. So, are there any expansions that didn't go well or where you made some mistakes, and what did you learn?
I'll be honest in saying that China is a big challenge for
Why?
us because the market is completely different. One of the things that we see there, we're in the earwear category, so people wearing ear products, where here the most electronic products are, say, that 150, 200, 250, 300 euros. Right there, the competition sits at 25, 30 euros equivalent. So that brings the market way, way more close together, and that's a challenge to really differentiate it there. So yeah, China is a challenge
Yeah, I can only imagine. A lot of intercultural differences, of course.
as well.
All right. Now, I know you focus, of course, most of the time on customer acquisition, but do you also have strategies in place to focus on customer retention?
Yeah, 100%. We already have today 4 different products that do 4 different things. Typically, people buy one product first, they get to know the brand, they explore it, they like it, and from there on we can build. And like, if you like your Loop Quiet to sleep, for example, maybe you're going to a festival this summer, so you might want to try the Loop experience as well. So that's definitely one thing. That said, we're also looking into expanding the category a little bit broader, going not just beyond giving everyone the freedom to choose what the world sounds like, but also experimenting on, if we are taking away the noise in people, are there other senses that we can actually help around with? And so we created very recently something that we called ID Lab, which is a small team in our product development team that is going to be there to really test outside of earwear, what can we do? How are people responding? Or how are customers responding? Can we open up new markets going through that? So there also it's really that nimbleness and that scalability that we try to get validation of as fast and as cheaply as possible.
Okay, and maybe you can start your own incubator.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. I would
Because-
lie if we haven't played with that idea yet. Not right now, because focus
Of course.
on what we're doing with Loop at the moment. But I do think that would be an exciting prospect for us.
But that brings me to the last questions. For you personally, what are your dreams and ambitions for the future?
My personal dreams and ambitions, I think if we can get effectively to the point where it becomes as natural for people to wear earplugs as it is natural to wear sunglasses, that is probably ultimate success. in terms of market penetration and the entire breaking the stigma around the category. I think that would be an incredible win. Next to that, if you see how we continue developing our team, there's a lot of pride in there as well. Today, it's one of the proudest things that we have. Every 6 months, we survey in employee engagements how everyone is feeling, what the challenges are, what we're doing great. One of the highest scores that we have is that people are proud of working at Loop. More than 90, 93, 95% is proud to work at that. If we can maintain that whilst we keep on growing the team, I think that is an incredible achievement to go after.
Okay, and where can people apply if they want to work at Loop?
I think it's careers.loopearplugs.com, something like that.
Yeah, or they can come to you. Are you sticking around a little bit?
I will be around indeed.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much for providing these very valuable insights, Dimitri O. So give it up one more time. Dimitri O from Loop Earplugs.